That is interesting. A certain amount of the computing can rub off on myself. And one of that is something I've focused on a lot in recent years, last 4 or 5 years, which is self-awareness, understanding my strengths and weaknesses, having the ability to change on a dime. And
give me an example.
Well, doing self-assessments, doing 360-degree evaluations of what do people below me, beside me, and above me think of me versus what do I think of myself. What do I think my top 10 strengths and weaknesses are? What do they think my top 10 strengths and weaknesses are? If those don't match up, I'm delusional on some things.
Right.
Relationship management and mentoring of younger generations that are similar to me. That helps and gives you a reflection of yourself and helps you be grounded and think about a lot about how you are and how you interact and who you choose to get along with, when to stand your ground and when to pick your battles. And these are all things that are more an art than a science, and very hard to get them right, but that's part of personal development. So if you don't have that challenge of doing that, you do end up stuck in a rut and repeating the same mistakes and never changing. And you'll find that people stop talking to you and trying to teach you things if they think you're incapable of learning or changing.
Right.
So if I find a flaw with myself, a bug in my program, and I agree that it's a bug in my program and I agree it's wrong, then I do have the consciousness level to change that. If not immediately, then pretty rapidly you'll see a change in that area over a 6-month period, and it'll be permanent for the rest of my life.
That's the key. How do you make it permanent?
Some examples that I guess are very early on, I decided that because I tend to do something completely or not at all, I probably shouldn't drink, smoke, or do drugs. So I never have. I've never even tried them, nor would am I tempted to. And there's other things I've decided I will do that are fun, like driving cars and things like that.
Talk about your drifting for a minute. You know, but how you love, because you're a Renaissance man. I mean, you traveled all over and you have different collections. You have a wonderful collection at home of all types of fascinating things, from the Fabergé eggs to the painted little snuff bottles to the 007 Golden gun and all kinds of things, and your cars and everything. But talk about, I know you really are into this, the drifting.
Well, yeah, I try to experience a lot of things in life, the bucket list concept.
Right.
And I'll try things I've never tried before. So in Japan years ago, Japanese kids with high-powered cars and nowhere to drive them went up into the mountains, up near Mount Fuji and other mountains on streets above Tokyo. These are really, really twisty roads. But they wanted to drive fast. And trying to drive and race and follow each other there, they accidentally discovered a faster way of getting around corners than typically the Formula One drivers do. A typical race driver will drive to the outside of a corner, cut across what they call the apex to keep it as straight as possible right across the corner, and then come out on the opposite bank. And that's been the way for hundreds of years, or 100 years or so, for how to drive a car fast around a corner. And they found out if they actually break the car loose out of control and have the rear wheels spinning, that they can actually go all the way around the corner drifting or floating around the corner and slingshot out of it. And overall time, because they never slowed down, is faster than if they break the car, slow it down, cross the corner, and accelerate up again. But doing it's very hard because you're out of control. You're like on ice. So if you don't do it quite right, it's very dangerous.
Are you doing this?
So yes, myself and a bunch of friends who do the kind of work I do, all got our helmets on, and we all went down and did drifting school for a day down in an Air Force base, taught by a drifting champion from Japan. And it's amazingly hard, very difficult, but after 8 hours of burning rubber, we were able to drift in donuts and in perfect figure eights, and basically you're steering the momentum of the car. It's like dancing with the car. And we'd all driven every kind of car on every kind of racetrack, but this is something we'd never done before. So it was very interesting.
Right, fascinating. Wow, and that out of control feeling, I mean, is that kind of weird for you since you're so logical and so, very much in control, to have that out of control experience?
It's a weird experience because what you're doing is you're forcing the car to do exactly what it's designed not to do, which is to go sideways or diagonally with no grip on the tires, no steering on the steering wheel, no brakes being applied, and still control the angle of the car. And so you're breaking all the rules.
Right. Gosh.
Which is usually a good guide for innovation.
Right. That's fascinating.